Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. This is Fisher Vlog number 41. And I thought I'd open up today with a clip of the boss. Here he is, lounging on his chair, just taking it all in. Not a care in the world. Very relaxed cat. And actually this has been kind of a busy week for him because he likes to watch what I do, and I've had an awful lot of materials come in and out of the fish room, and he likes to sit there and see what I'm doing. One of the things that kind of went wrong this week is I was moving in and out a bunch of plywood, like big sheets, and I managed, when I was maneuvering one of them around, to clip the top of this. This is my vinegar eel separator. I just hit the top of the pipe, but it was enough to tip it over, and it landed on the floor. And because it was fully loaded, it had enough weight that it managed to crack the top off of this. And unfortunately, it's one of those things that happens, but this kind of highlights one of the reasons why I like doing DIY. It is an easy fix. I don't have to send away for anything. I don't have to wait for stuff to come in, which seems to take longer and longer these days. All I need to do is, because it's a really nice clean break, all I have to do is just put a little bit of the glue back on it here and set it up, and it only takes a few minutes. And then I will put it on the lathe, not because I want to turn it down, but because when the lathe spins, I can easily sand this off more evenly, and that's all it takes, and then it's good to go. Because, as you'll see later on, there's a clip coming up, the angelfish have spawned again, and they have actually free swimming fry now. I actually needed this to start working right away. So one of the things I do when PVC glue cures, it gives off acetone, and that's toxic enough. So what I do is, once it's put together like this and I have all the sanding done and everything, is I drop an airline tubing, a rigid piece, right down the top there where my thumb is, and I just blow air through it until the air comes out not smelling of acetone. It doesn't take very long, it only takes a few minutes, and then it's good to go. And as you can see, it is not seamless. You can see little cracks right there, but it is watertight again. That's all that really matters. And I could have, like I said, put it on the lathe and use the actual lathe part to turn this down, but not just because I was in a rush, but it is not really necessary. I just wanted to get it functional again. I am going to make another one of these, as I keep saying. If I ever find time, and I want to make one with a larger diameter output there where my hand is now, just to see if that changes how quickly and how long I can use the culture before I have to separate out and do another one. There you go, it's up and functioning, and like I said, I get about 2.5 to 3 days out of each time I fill this as is, so it's definitely good enough. So the next bunch of clips are going to be some plant updates. I have one or two changes. This one here is probably the most notable one. I have taken, as you can see, there's no bubbling happening in this tank anymore. I took out that modified box filter, and it's going to go where it needs to go now. And I realized that once I took it out, it really cuts down on the amount of moisture that this thing is exposed to. And I think it's actually doing better. So I'm going to leave this in for a little while longer, and we're going to see how it does before I do anything like switching it out for another plant or anything along those lines. Now, one of the hydroponics things I've been working on is doing really well, and that is the green onion here. It's thriving. I keep trimming off leaves and using them, and they taste perfectly fine. One that isn't doing very well, as you can tell here, this sweet potato just died, and as you can see, it's fungusing. I will try that again in a different format. I think I might put it in a pot. I just wanted to toss that in there because I picked it up in the groceries. I think there's a bit of an issue with that particular variety because of where it comes from, so I am going to try something different with it this time. But the others are doing really well. I do need to pot these. They are rooting really well, and I actually really like this style of, tumbler, whatever you want to call it, for starting plants. It supplies a nice flow of water across it, and as you can see, it produces an awful lot of roots, so I think it is one of the better ways of doing this. Much better than the low-tech one I have. Now this here is growing way better than I thought it would. This is just in gravel. As you can see, there's a lot of nutrients in there now, which is just the mulm. But they're growing back, and there's no jagged edges anymore. It's actually looking way better than I thought it would. So this is actually going to turn out to be a viable way of pruning this stuff, which is a surprise. And as you can see, these planters here are doing exceptionally well. That spider plant now is sending out really long runners, and I am going to have to do something about that. I am in the process now. I do have the acrylic for the indoor pond, so I am going to be putting that together next little while, but I'm not sure it's going to last long enough with that runner down there. It may get too long, and if it gets long enough, the boss is going to come by and start batting it and chewing on it, and I don't think that it's going to like that, so I may have to do something about that before then. But I definitely want to put some of this and the aluminum plant and other stuff like that into the pond and see how it does there. So all these are doing really well. I'm very happy with this whole setup. I think it just looks nice. Now these guys here are probably an addition that I actually the most happy with, to tell you the truth. When I bought them, as I said, they didn't really look as good as I thought they might be. I just wanted them because I really like these fish. But as you can see, they're plumping out nicely. These are the females, and they are definitely now, I'll try and give you a better picture of it next week, but you can definitely see eggs in that cavity back there. And I haven't seen much in the way of behavior for breeding yet, but I'm trying not to look too much at them. I'm trying to let them, do their own thing and get set up, because if I disturb them too much, they may not, they might get a little shy of me, and I don't want them. I want them to come when I put food in and stuff and be happy and that sort of thing. So I'm giving as much space as possible. And so far, I mean, they're eating flake food, and I feed them a lot of gramaris, and they love those things. So as you can see, they're doing really quite well. Here's the male, and he has actually really good markings. Like I said, normally when I buy fish from, like these are mass produced somewhere, but these particular ones have some really nice colors, nice markings, good stripes. And the most important thing, of course, is they're really vibrant and healthy. They're really responding well to being here, and that's excellent, because I really do want to breed these and end up with a whole pile of them. Because they are actually a good fish that can go into my clients' tanks, because they're, as you can see, they're not aggressive, and the males look really beautiful. So I'm actually really happy about that, and hopefully they will continue to keep on doing that. And speaking of breeding, my rainbows, the Bosmani Rainbows here, as you can see in the back corner, there's a pair in the Java moss there. They have started to lay eggs, and the male has really colored up nicely. I'm really happy about this, and I am going to end up putting, I'm not sure if I'm going to go the spawning mop route, or I might just rotate the Java moss in there to see. I want to obviously raise a bunch of these, so I will probably give them some form of like place that they can breed, that I can remove the eggs and hatch them separately, and keep that going back and forth. I'm going to let them alone for a little while longer, just to make sure that they're comfortable, and then I'm going to probably do something like that. Something that will, like I said, allow me to raise at least a few dozen of these. I don't really want hundreds of them, but, Now I'm going to show you these guys. These are obviously my OB convex cichlids, and it took me a few generations to get a pair that are really happy together, and they produce offspring, obviously, and they breed and all that sort of stuff. But the most important thing is they don't kill each other, and it took a long time to do that. And the reason why I'm showing you this is the angelfish that I have, the pair, without doing any kind of work on them whatsoever as far as, selective breeding or anything. These two are really good together. They don't hurt each other at all. There's no damage to the fins. They're turning out to be excellent parents. Well, very good parents. I guess excellent is probably a little bit too much. They have eaten a couple of batches, but I think that was possibly because of the new tank. But as you can see now, there's a new batch of fry here. They're not all free swimming at this point, but I wanted to show you a clear image before I put all the infusori in here, which is coming up next, and it gets obviously harder to see them. So yeah, they're getting another batch, and the reason why I've decided to raises many of this particular batch as possible is their original batch now, as you're about to see shortly, is getting much larger, and they're doing really quite well, and they're getting onto flake food. So I do have enough resources now to raise some more. So here they are, all nice and free swimming and ready to raise up. Now, one thing I want to mention before we run out of video here is I'm really getting close to 14K now, and I am going to be doing a giveaway, and I'm going to do it a little differently this time. I'm going to mention it kind of like in the middle or near the end of a video, and I'm going to give you a keyword for that, and then I'm going to do the draw, because I would like people who watch and comment regularly to be in this and have obviously a greater chance of winning. So that will be coming up shortly. So as always, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't liked and subscribed at this point, please do so. And like I said, I'm going to continue hopefully producing more videos. And the other thing I want to mention is the poll I put out really worked out well. Almost 100 people have responded to it. I'm going to do some stuff about that coming up too as well. So as always, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.